These all are tobacco, right?
Tobacco.
It is real or fake?
It is not real. It's been up here since we got here, so
Okay.
it might have fallen by now. I guess they were afraid if somebody could reach, they might be able to roll it a cigarette or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
That is how it looks.
It looks like a real, you know.
This talks about some of the dangers in the rice paddies, the snakes that were there, the crocodiles, alligators, where they were making these. Very, very dangerous work. All of this involved dangerous work. The sugar plantations, the rice paddies. So there was a lot of dangers involved in the crops that the slaves were expected to produce.
Danger.
The crocodile, okay.
So you see that something there?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Oh, go ahead. You pull the other one. I pull this one. I don't see. Oh, okay. On the behind. Okay.
This wheel represents the percentage of slave.
You don't see anything under. It's
population
just a behind.
The original colony.
I was looking under.
1770. And you can this is a real good aid for kids that come in because you can see the percentages and you get them to draw the conclusion, oh yeah, it was mostly in the South. Because New York, it's in 1770 at 12% of their population was slaves. New Hampshire 1, Connecticut 3, Rhode Island 6, Massachusetts 2, and then you get down, well, let's go this way. Delaware 5. Now Delaware was a slave state, but even in 1770 they only had 5%. You know how they had to keep the slave states and the free states equal. New Jersey at 7%, Pennsylvania at 2%, and then you get into Virginia, 42%, Maryland 32%, North Carolina 35%, South Carolina 61%
Wow.
of the
Very
population
high.
of South Carolina in 1770 were slaves. This was right before they were writing a constitution. Do you understand why they wanted them counted? You know, that was a lot of people down there, you know, and don't check our statistics because they're really bad. But we know that it was 61%, but these do not compute if you really look at them, so don't look too closely. Georgia had 45%, and then we're back to Massachusetts. So again, this is a really good tool that I use with the kids because then you say, now what conclusion can you draw from that? Well, they were in the South. That's by, you know, not too much after that, we had people who, you know, states that had outlawed slavery. Well, he's in there. A real quick story, one of my favorite ladies. Have you heard of Mum Bet? Mum Bet is one of my favorite ladies in history. She was a slave, and she lived in Massachusetts. She and her sister were owned and lived in the house of a judge and a lawyer. And this was right around the time of the Revolutionary War, right around the time of the writing of the Constitution. And she's in this house under really bad conditions. At one point, her sister was moving too slow for the mistress, and she actually picked up an iron out of the fire and threw it at her sister. Well, Mum Bet stepped in the way, and she ended up getting a horrible burn on her arm. She never covered it. Anytime somebody would say, what happened to your arm, she would say, ask madam. So it was, even though it was Massachusetts, it was oppressive conditions. So she decided she was going to go hire herself an attorney, which I can't even imagine the guts it took to do that. She went to this guy and she said, I want you to be my attorney. And he said, what could you possibly want me to do? She said, I want you to sue for my freedom. I want you to give me my freedom. I'm in this house and they're talking about this, how all men are created equal and stuff. Well, I'm not a man, but I should be equal too. So he took her case and they won. Now remember, this was Massachusetts, not South Carolina. And not only did the judge say she would get her freedom, but she said that the owner had to pay her wages fair wages from the time she turned 21. She was about 42 at the time. She got 21 years of back wages. And
Wow.
she, with this attorney, were instrumental in ending slavery in Massachusetts. She changed her name to Elizabeth Friedman. And which I think is a great name for somebody who just received their freedom. And she had a very famous descendant, great-great-great-grandson by the name of W.E.B. Du Bois, which I think is just a wonderful story. It's just...
We consider her a founding mother.
Do you? I love her. I think I tell the story of Mom Bet all the time because I think she's so inspirational, you know, to what you can do if you really set your mind to it. How important that freedom was to her, that she was willing to literally risk her life to go hire somebody to get her freedom. I think